two-time tour winner, Rose Zhang. Rose, just kind of take us through the off season. What'd you get into? I know you're busy with school. How's that been going, balancing that and playing a little bit?
I've actually been having a really good off season so far. I think especially with the last 2 years being super hectic, I kind of took some time off and reflected a little bit on how I operated, how my systems were. I touched base with my entire team, so we did a little camp together right before I headed out here. And I'm currently at school for winter quarter, so 22 units is definitely a hefty load, but it's good now that I can be in person and kind of prioritize that when I'm in the off season. So it's keeping me busy, and I'm just thinking about how to better myself for this upcoming season.
Speaking of, you talked a lot about school and everything. What have you done golf-wise maybe to prepare for this week? And then also kind of knowing we're probably not going to see you again for a little bit, knowing you're finishing up
100%.
Your quarter, yeah.
Yeah. So I've been just maneuvering my way through off season. I'm trying to rest my body as much as possible. I had a little bit of a wrist injury following Solheim, and then I just kept playing through it, which didn't help my situation, and that's why I think today was my 6th time ever practicing, 2nd time on a golf course itself. So I'm kind of keeping it low expectations, 0 expectations to be fair, and going out there with what I have and trying to learn the best from my game. That's my priority for this entire week, and it's so great to be able to be with celebrities and have this sort of environment. So I'm super excited about it. And then I'll have 2 months off, essentially just being at school. I've got an AJGA tournament to host, which I'm super excited about, and a couple of my friends are actually playing in it, which would be really, really fun to witness and get to see. Then I just start my season in Arizona.
Yeah. All right, we'll go ahead and open it up, Chantal.
Leaning into the celebrity aspect of this tournament, you've obviously rubbed shoulders with plenty of celebrities over your short time as a professional, backing up to the amateur days too. Anybody who you were particularly excited to meet or try to get to play with, who was on your roster of the names you wanted to actually play tournament rounds with?
I honestly, to be honest, I went through the list, and I don't think any of them are too far off of my list. There's a couple people that were from my club in Las Vegas at Summit, and it would have been really fun to kind of play with them. Dexter is one of those players, and he's in the field this week, but I've seen him at Summit before, and it would have been fun. He brings out really good vibes, and I rode in the van with him today, and he said he was a 3 handicap, so he'd probably show me up a little bit.
How about just getting ready for the season, kind of going back to school, if you will, on that topic? Everybody's kind of messing around with different items that come out from club manufacturers. Anything that you've gotten to play with and maybe experiment a little bit with this week?
Exactly. This week, in my opinion, I think if there's anything to experiment with, it's this week. You really get into tournament play. It's early in the year. You get to try out some of the equipment that you got to see in off season. For me personally, I have a new putter in the bag, so I'm going to see how that works, see how that looks when I'm out there. And then Callaway has the new Elite equipment, so I have those in the bag, and they've been working really well so far. But other than that, it's kind of just blind eye going into it, and then we'll work it out from there.
I'm not trying to hijack the mic, but since you brought up the putter, when you are looking at the mechanics of the putt, something specific to improve your game, what specifically do you like when it comes to how you feel over the ball?
Yeah, so the first thing I think about, which I kind of struggled with last year, was the setup to the ball in general. When you have a really comfortable setup, or when you get a really consistent setup, that is when you have the most confidence over a putt, and you could just execute accordingly. But I kind of wiggled around with my grip. I couldn't really understand where my head was, where I was aiming in alignment, and that kind of took a toll on the strokes gained in my game. So, you know, this year I'm trying to more focus on the consistency of just setup and having a head that helps me set up to where I want to be, or at least be more consistent with it. I think that's the #1 key. Putting in general requires consistency, and if you can't stand up to the ball and be consistent there, then it's hard to have good putts come out of it.
Mike Brodsky, Florida National News. Rose, can you talk about some of the mentors that you've had in the game of golf who've helped you to achieve the level of success that you've reached at such a young age?
Right. There's a lot, actually. I can't say, I think a lot of people that came or I crossed paths with have all been very inspirational to me, and I've been very blessed to have people that can guide me in that sense. For instance, when I was in junior golf at the ANA Junior Inspiration, Annika Sorenstam was there and talked to the entire field. I got to talk to her a little bit and interview her in like a small AJGA clip, which was very inspiring. And then I went over to college golf, and I really felt a lot of mentorship from my head coach, Coach Walker. She's been very, very pivotal in my ability to come out on tour and have a little bit of a transition. And then I'd say, you know, now on tour, when I was making that decision of what I wanted to do, Michelle was honestly a person that I really inspired, and kind of, she just helped me guide my decisions, or at least gave her input on what her experiences were while being in college and being on tour, to which I really took it to heart. So I'm glad that I'm doing what I'm doing now, and these people have all provided some input. And then you've obviously got family, friends, and coaches. Todd Anderson, George Pinnell, like all these people have been very great to me.
Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
You seem so seasoned for being so young, right? And I'm interested in what the biggest adjustment you've had to make since joining the tour.
There's a lot of navigation, in my opinion, when it comes to transitioning on tour. I think even though when you come out very hot, it seems like you're seasoned in your game, but in reality, I realized that it was a lot of adrenaline, and I was just doing things in the most random orders. I think being on tour, actually having a schedule, having a team that holds you accountable, and also having people around you that are accountable for just what they're doing to help you is very important. I kind of had to understand that a little bit and slowly adjust to make sure that I come out every single week with the most preparation. Sometimes with the travel, with so many obligations, you get sidetracked very easily, and you don't really feel the most prepared when it comes to actually playing on Thursday. And then if you play well or decent, you play through Sunday and potentially are in contention. It just, you know, sometimes that preparation work gets a little bit lost, and that was the biggest transition that I tried to make, at least for this upcoming year as well.
And how do you manage to juggle studying now, going back to school, and playing pro golf? That's quite an assignment.
Right, it's a lot of work. I think one mistake that I made last year was when I had an off season and I was at school full time with 20 units. I had a couple hard classes and I lost a lot of sleep. I didn't really take care of myself. I was trying to practice the same amount that I was on tour, and also being in school in that sense, which was a lot to load. So this year it was more to balance out my entire lifestyle. It's just a lot of work in school, academia, getting assignments out of the way easier, and then I can kind of lay low, practice a little bit when I feel like it. More so the fitness level, the fitness side is where I'm kind of looking towards grinding a little bit more on. And I think that'll make up for a lot, and it'll help me rest up for the rest of the year because it's a long season.
Sometimes the busier you are, the more organized, obviously, you have to be, and that could be helpful.
Right, exactly. So my Google Calendars, my structured app is really kind of helping me right now.
Hi, Rose. My question is kind of following up on that. Talk about managing these stresses. What is your plan of attack as the year goes on, balancing school, but also trying to get back in form and playing your best?
Right. I think I really like how my schedule is playing out right now because I am full-time, 22 units into winter quarter, but it's only 10 weeks. So I will be, actually the week before Arizona would be my finals week, which is really nice because I'll get to finish everything that I need to, and then prioritizing that, putting that to a side, and then getting ready for the entire season. It's kind of like me tackling one thing at a time. And there's a lot of multitasking already when it comes to golf and performance already. So just making sure that I have the times of working out, the times of just planning out my schedule, practicing with the structure. These are all things that I'm kind of figuring out, which will ultimately, no matter what happens in terms of score, at least get me organized to where I want to be. Or at least I can see what factors I can work on.
Best of luck compartmentalizing all that.
Thank you.
Rose, with all you have going on, do you ever think, why am I doing all of this?
Yes, I always do. You know, a lot of people would ask me, but I do think it is really, really good for my character, really good for just my personal development in general. It's very difficult, and I'm not really sure if there is a right option to just turn pro and just play golf or finish my degree, but in my opinion, I think this is a good balance for what I'm striving for. It's not necessarily the most popular route, but it's definitely a good route in my eyes.
When you were here at this event last year, I remember you talking about trying to sort through some things with your health and your diet. How would you assess where your health is heading into this season?
It's so much better. I feel really excited about it just because I learned how much stress really impacts me, especially when you come off adrenaline to tournaments, and I'd argue that my entire season was kind of filled with adrenaline. Being able to lay low a little bit and understand what it means to at least reorganize myself in that sense, it really made a huge impact to how I feel right now. I'd say I've got a lot of good people on the team who really prioritize me and everything that I'm doing, and they're very supportive. So those people are really holding me to everything, and including taking care of myself. So I'm getting more sleep, and that helps with balancing everything as well.
How much sleep do you usually get a night?
7-8 hours is pretty standard. I'm actually taking a sleep and dreams class at Stanford, and it's honestly one of the most popular classes. Priority for seniors, which I am a senior now, which is actually insane. And you get bonus points if you fall asleep in class. You get squirted by a squirt gun, and you have to stand up, and you have to tell the whole class, drowsiness is red alert. It's our mantra. Sorry? No, I'm very shy in class. I don't think I can handle that much pressure. 1 point won't get you anywhere, to be honest.
Just one last one for me. You mentioned it kind of off the rip, the AJGA event. Just kind of what kind of details can you share about that with us? And have you gotten to pick Nellie's brain a little bit after she hosted the Nellie last year?
Oh, that's a really good. I probably should do that, to be honest. But AJGA is a special place in my heart. I've grown up playing it when I was 13 till 18, basically when I graduated. But I met so many people there, some people on tour now who I played with in AJGA are my really close friends, and I want to have the Invitational at least be an environment where it's not only competitive, but at least they can gain some inspiration from the tournament itself. We got some good gifts for the kids that are playing, and it kind of reminds me of myself. I'm really excited to do some Q&As with them, with just the players, but also something to add on is I'm planning on doing a little seminar for the parents, just because I feel like the parents, they always travel with the children, the kids, and they're emotionally invested in them as well, and they want the best for their children. So with that development, if they have any questions, I feel like it's an open room and platform to be able to do so.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time. Best of luck.